Welcome back to How to Cake It. Please subscribe to this channel. We do new videos every Tuesday, and this week I am caking the only snowman worthy of being caked. Olaf.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Jocelyn, I'm working. I already built a snowman out of cake. I don't look enough like Elsa.
Okay, but I told you, yo, this wig is not for adults.
I look like Beethoven. To make my Olaf cake, I needed 8 pounds of my ultimate chocolate cake batter. For my recipe and to find out how I divided my batter between my pans, head to howtocakeit.com. Ow. Ow!
Hold on. You have too much hair.
Ow!
Okay, there.
I've removed all of my cakes from their pans, leveled them, and now it's time to simple syrup them all. Oh, I get it. Snowflake, Elsa, Olaf, Frozen. I see this theme coming together. Good work. I've let the simple syrup soak into my cakes to keep them really moist while decorating. And now I'm going to begin by stacking my cakes into 2 cakes by assembling 3 of the bigger layers together and filling them with chocolate ganache, and the 2 smaller layers together also filled with chocolate ganache. You can find my chocolate ganache recipe at howtocakeit.com. It is also your holiday baking headquarters. I think this wig is gonna fall off my head.
Let's start. Like,
are my roots showing? Because oh no.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, hold the.
I look like Donald Trump.
And
I'm Nelsa. That's who I am.
who's Elsa?
Not Elsa. I chill my cake once it's filled, and once the ganache is set, I begin to carve. I start by carving the larger cake into the bottom of Olaf's body, which is a snowball, but I chose not to use a sphere because he's not perfect. He's very perfectly imperfect, in fact. I carved the smaller cake in the same way to make the top of his body. It's time to crumb coat and chill.
do you want to build a snowman?
No, I'm crumb coating and chilling. That's what I want to do. I used my Italian meringue buttercream and a small spatula to lock the crumbs in place before chilling my cakes. While my cakes were chilling, I decided to make 3 coals for the Olaf's buttons on the front of his body. I just took some black fondant, rolled it in my hands, and then shaped it so that each coal was not the exact same shape. And I set them aside to dry. I also made Olaf's carrot nose, which I made from 50/50. I rolled it into a tube that was pointed along one side, and then I used my knife to score and mark the carrot all along with lines like a real carrot has.
How's that wig holding up, yo?
It's itchy.
Oh.
Like, really, just. It's now time for me to ice my cakes as smooth as I can with another layer of Italian meringue buttercream. After icing your cakes, chill them once again, and if you don't feel they're smooth enough, you could just smooth out the ridges with wet fingertips or your small icing spatula. Now we need to address Olaf's head. Because it's top heavy, I'm going to make it out of Rice Krispie treats. And to be honest, I have never ever sculpted Rice Krispie treats by hand. I start by making Rice Krispie treats, omitting the butter, and once it's all come together, I just start to form Olaf's head. I use my hands to model and form the basic shape of his head, and I built out the front where his mouth would be. I kept referencing my template, holding my Rice Krispie treats over it to see if it was the proper size, but it was really nerve-wracking because sometimes it's hard to visualize things until they're covered in fondant. So at this point, I'm just hoping. Once you're happy with your shape, you need to let the Rice Krispie treats cool completely and set up. Then you need to crumb coat and chill the head, and ice and chill the head once again, the same way you treat a cake. For Olaf's feet, I took some of my Rice Krispie mixture, rolled it out into a cylinder, and cut it in half to create 2 little rounds for his cute little feet. Now this cake is pretty complicated, but at Camp Cake on December 10th, we are going to make delicious treats together and in real time. This is the last week to register, so head to hattykakit.com and don't forget, when you register, you get my Holiday Baking Hacks ebook completely free. We'll be baking holiday treats together. And with Jocelyn.
Do you want to build a snowman?
No, I want you to bake with me at Camp Cake, Jocelyn. It's time to cover Olaf in fondant. I'm using white fondant to cover both of the cakes, Olaf's Rice Krispie head and his 2 Rice Krispie feet. When covering Olaf's head, make sure to leave the excess fondant so you could tuck it right under. I actually turned his head upside down for a moment just to make sure I could cover the back and cut away the excess. And when covering his little feet, keep in mind that the bottom of the Rice Krispie treats that is not covered in fondant will be hidden when they're placed up against his body. Here. This doesn't happen to Elsa.
I think mostly because Elsa's hair is real.
It's time to build Olaf. Jocelyn, sing now.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes, I do. Place my largest cake on a cake board, and then I cut away some of the fondant from the top of the cake using a circle cutter. I then placed trimmed dowels within that circle to support the next layer of cake, as well as a cake board that has been cut to fit that exact circle. It's time to place the next snowball cake on top, and again use a smaller circle cutter to cut away some of the fondant on top. Once again, I placed trimmed dowels within that circle and a little cake board on top. Now I'm going to add Olaf's feet to the front of his body, gluing them on with just a touch of Italian meringue buttercream. I want to go back and add some more detail to Olaf's head before adding it to the body. I start by rolling out a band of white fondant that I'm going to add to this part of his face. I trimmed the fondant to enhance Olaf's smile, and I used a small circle cutter to create some laugh lines. Like grin lines. He's such a happy guy. For Olaf's tooth, not teeth, tooth, I rolled out some white gum paste, again using my template to cut the proper shape for his mouth. For his eyebrows, I cut the eyebrow out of the template I made and laid it onto some thinly rolled out brown fondant and cut out 2 eyebrows. He's got 2 eyebrows, but 1 tooth. To make his eyeballs, I used white gum paste formed in a very rounded spoon that I have. I let them set a little, and then I created pupils by rolling out some black fondant really thin and a little gleam. Wait! Jeremy, hold on. Jeremy taught me what it's called. I created a catch light.
Oh, wow.
By rolling out tiny little balls of gum paste and placing it within the pupil. I shouldn't have done that, it's gonna fall off. To add Olaf's head to his body, I need a long dowel that has been sharpened on either end. To start, I'm gonna create the hole where the dowel will go into his head just by twisting the this sounds horrible. Just hold Olaf's head and twist the sharpened dowel in. Make sure it doesn't come out the top of his head. How come you're not singing now, Jocelyn? And I pull the dowel out, place it through the body, you need a hammer, and then I add the head on top. Did that sound more pleasant?
That sounded so pleasant. Orhan, add some I don't know, what do you think?
Snow!
Snow, yeah.
Falling snow.
Yeah.
Like a flurry.
I think a harp sound.
Okay, yeah, I like this. Yeah. Jocelyn, sing another verse again.
Do you want to build a snowman?
That's perfect, because you sound like a little girl. I wanted wanted his tooth to stand out a bit from his mouth, so I actually put a little bit of gum paste under the tooth just so that his tooth wouldn't cave in. It definitely sticks out a little.
You need some dental work.
Yeah, Olaf could see the dentist. Before adding Olaf's eyeballs to his face, I use a little bit of blue luster dust mixed with clear food grade alcohol and paint blue circles. I don't know what those blue circles are. Is that his eyeshadow? Is this an indication that he's cold because he's a snowman? Now, I can't forget Olaf's nose. I attached it to his face with a lollipop stick, and I even made his little lids using some black fondant that I rolled out and cut with a circle cutter. Before adding the 3 coals to Olaf's body, I brushed them with some matte black color dust just to make them look, well, coaly. I applied the coal using some lollipop sticks to hold them in place and a little bit of clear piping gel on the back. I need to make Olaf's 3 strands of twig hair. At this point, Olaf's hair is better than mine, so I'm not going to make fun of it. And his arms, his twiggy little arms. I roll my fondant into tubes, flatten them out a bit, place a lollipop stick on top, and then roll that fondant right around the stick. And then I form his, I think he has 3. 4? Olaf? Let me see. 1, 2, 4. He has like 3 little fingers and a thumb, kind of, on each arm. And then I add them to the body so that they're resting on his feet, and I add his 3 little twig hairs, which look good right about now. I would take 3 twig hairs over whatever this is. It really breaks my heart to tell you guys that we do not sell this Elsa wig at howtocake.com. Because I know that you want it now, obviously. But we do have a lot of great gifts for the bakers in your life and awesome tools if you bake yourself. So please head to howtocake.com and check it all out. I've never understood why Olaf doesn't wear a scarf. Isn't he freezing? I'm gonna lose this one. Yes! So anyway. Well, I used some gum paste, I rolled it out, and I used a textured rolling pin that I have, and I love just to create some texture so it looked like a nice knitted scarf that would keep a snowman warm. That's how warm it is. And then I created some fringe at the end, and I basically wrapped it around his neck. So I cut it into a few pieces, and I created the part that fell at the front, and then I created the part that fell at the back, and then I wrapped another piece around so it looked like one continuous warm scarf.
And in the time it took you to do that.
I'm Elsa again. Elsa. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to How to Cake It. We make new cakes every week. Let me know if you like Olaf's scarf. And let me know if you're joining me for Camp Cake on December 10th. I would really love to see you there. Oh, Jocelyn, don't you have a question?
Do you want to build a snowman?
No.